we have a special appearance by Jonathan from Eidos, Montreal, who often goes by JJB because his last name is a little difficult to pronounce. So do you want to give us a go so we can hear it?
Yeah, so my last name is Jacques-Belletêt. It's a hyphenated last name like we do here in French Canada. So Jacques my
you
mom's
French
last
people.
name, and Belletête is my dad's. That's what we do.
Well, I definitely understand why it's a little easier to go by JJB. And you're the current art director over at Eidos Montreal, correct?
I am the art director on Deus Ex Human Revolution, yes.
So that's why we have you here with us today, because it's a very exciting time over at that studio. So Deus Ex Human Revolution, it launches on August 23rd in North America, correct?
Yes, and it's launching the 26th in Europe, yeah.
So do you guys have anything left to do? What's the mood like in the studio right now?
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, there's really nothing left to do. I'm pretty sure the game is probably even done printing by this time. It's probably in a whole bunch of cargo ships on their way to warehouses and then to stores. I would guess, a week and a half, 2 weeks away from street date. So what's the mood at the office, really? That's a good question, because I haven't been at the office for about a month and a half now. I've been on vacation. I'm on vacation right now. My guess is that it's really good, from the people I've been talking to, and I'm not part of it, but they are preparing a crazy big launch party that we're going to have on the 23rd at a very, very nice venue in Montreal. So, yeah. Pretty exciting stuff.
So have you been on vacation that entire duration of time, or have you been traveling too, promoting the game leading up to launch?
Yeah, I've also been, kind of working, doing a bit of a promo event still, and some media ups and things like that. So yeah, I've still been promoting the game while on vacation. So I've had quite a few, phone call interviews, which is kind of okay. I would feel like at my place, either if it was in the morning, having coffee, talking to the turn over the phone, or at night with a beer. Even when I gave from my my cottage, I was there for a few days, and I needed to give an interview to a local newspaper, very cool kind of cultural newspaper that we have here in Montreal. And I was actually kind of sitting in front of the lake at the cottage giving the interview. It was quite awesome, really.
Well, that's a lot better than the interviews that most people have when they're stuck in a press room.
I sit in my office last week, and people came to me and recorded me sitting on the couch, chilling in the corner, and I wished every interview could be like that. And I just got back off holidays, and I had the exact same thing. I had people asking me whilst I was in Ireland, could I pop by and do some interviews? So I met with a few people.
Oh, yeah, true.
But it was, even trying to take holidays in this industry is hard, because no matter where you are in the world, there's always somebody close to you who wants to talk to you.
Somebody somewhere. Yeah. You'd have to go somewhere pretty desolate to get away from everything.
I think even if you found somewhere desolate like Murmansk in Russia, I'm sure there's an editor all the way up there who'd be delighted to hear from you.
This is my opportunity.
Yeah, and especially if you had an understanding with PR and marketing before you leave on vacation, that you're open to those
and also
those interviews. Because the thing is that we all left, pretty much all the directors, we left on vacation at the same time, about 2 months before release, which is kind of normal. That 2 months before release, there's still quite a bit of interviews and things like this, and media things to do for the game. So we all said it's all good as long as it's not kind of too crazy, like really over exaggerating and whatnot. We're okay with it. We're okay to.
And that's the problem with Twitter nowadays as well, is that people get to see where we are in the world very easily.
Do you tweet a lot, or do you avoid that during these kind of down times?
Say that again, sorry?
Do you tweet a lot? Do you use Twitter, or do you try to avoid that during these down times when you're supposed to be doing personal vacation?
I don't try to avoid it. Yeah, no, I don't try to avoid it. I've actually tweeted quite a bit less. It's not because I was trying to avoid it. It was really just because I guess I had a life, so, which I didn't really for the past 4 years.
Have you not followed Jonathan's tweets?
I just started following him today.
Jonathan has the funniest tweets because
really?
He goes through.
Megan is following me. Awesome.
I know. Like, you go through this cool phase where it was like for an entire month or two, all it was just your fascination with legs and heels. So it was people stopped at traffic lights getting ready to cross the road, and it was just It was great. I loved it. It's changed though. Go back to that. I like that one.
Yeah, I will. Trust me, that's a never-ending fascination. I guess it's I guess on Tumblr, yeah, because Carl, I guess you're referring to what I was posting on my Tumblr page and whatnot, and yeah, maybe I've my Tumblr, I have started posting other things, but my personal fascination for legs and heels that hasn't really gone away, really.
I just started following your Tumblr too. As an art director, you're allowed to be fascinated with those things.
Well, whilst we're on the subject, why don't you give everybody who's listening to this your Twitter handler, so they know how to follow you. What's your Twitter name?
So my Twitter name is Jonatchu. So it's JONATCHOO. That's just a weird thing we have. Me and my friends would just add like choose at the end of everything, like CO.
You've got multiple personalities now, lots of different identities.
Yeah.
Do people realize who you are across all mediums? They're like this JJB guy, this Jonathan guy, and then not realize that you're the same person?
I hope they don't. That's kind of cool.
Hopefully they recognize it's you across all mediums.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess it's all right. I mean, I pretty much say the same stuff all the time.
So Jonathan, we're coming, obviously Deus Ex is just about to launch, but obviously the listeners, I'd love you to give them an idea of when you started this project so that they can understand how long this goes on, because, you know, from our perspective, we've been at it now for, you know, give or take a year and a half, but you guys have been going at this a long time. You're coming to the end of a really long session of early pre-pro concept, and now you're right involved all the way up to interview. So how long has the entire process taken so far?
We're nearing 4.5 years now, if we actually count, you know, let's say all the way up to today, you know, which obviously I'm doing this podcast with you guys on the game, and there's other stuff coming, and probably a few things after the game, after the release as well. So close to 4.5 years now. We started kind of early spring 2007. And, yeah, really just 4 guys in what we call the aquarium, because, you know, fish tank, because we were renting offices at that time, because the real offices weren't ready yet. You know, we had nothing, not even computers for like the first week. Just kind of looking at one another saying, what the hell have we done? You know, we had cushiony jobs with cool projects, you know, and now we have to like revive one of the biggest franchises ever. At a studio that only exists on a signed piece of paper. So, yeah. But, I mean, I was actually, one of my very best buddies been in town. He lives in Whistler in Vancouver, and that's like the most western part of Canada. And, you know, we've known each other for like 17, 18 years, and he's been in town now for about 2-3 weeks. I was actually talking with him earlier on today, just saying, like, I still haven't really fully realized that this thing is finished. You know, I remember when we first received all the dev kits, we stashed all those boxes in Stéphane Destou's office, you know, the general manager of Eidos Montreal, because that was the only place where there was space to put those kits. And we're just looking at them saying, yeah, I guess now we have to do a game, you know.
So since it's been such a long journey, then how does it feel to see that first review come in? Because the first one came in from, PC Gamer, and it came in at a 94?
The first one came, how they reviewed the first Deus Ex, it was 95.
Oh, I'm sorry, 95. All right.
Congratulations,
but still, congratulations.
That's awesome to get that.
I saw the post on Tumblr that said something like 95, cancel pre-order, and I just started laughing. But, like, that has to feel good, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. They gave 95 to the first one, PC Gamer, and they gave us 94. And is that what you were saying? Were you saying the score that we had or the score that the first one had, Mary? Sorry. Megan, sorry.
The score that you got from PC Gamer for Human Revolution, the first review that we got, what was that?
Oh, yeah, that was a 94. Sorry, I misunderstood. I thought you guys were saying how what's the score that the first Deus Ex.
Yeah, no. So
So the comparison was that your game got the 94 and the original one got the 95, right?
Yeah. So our first review is a 94, and there's also a 10 on 10 lying around somewhere.
That's good. It's 4.5 years to have some big review scores come out like that. Congratulations.
How did the team react back in the studio to that? Like, are there already issues of that magazine framed up on the wall? Like, how does the team celebrate that?
Again, that's a good question. Like, you know, because I haven't been at the office since those numbers have been out. So, you know, I've seen a few tweets from, you know, some of the guys on the team, and they seem to be super excited. I mean, a project like that, it's such a huge game, such a complicated, complex game. It's a type of game that had never been developed in Montreal, even though we're, one of the great kind of video game development centers, I guess. But we kind of, our expertise is in adventure games and first-person shooters and whatnot. So it was a hard, long road to get to where we are today. So I'm convinced that the team is just so stoked to see that all those efforts, sweat, blood, tears, have been really worth it,
So before you went on this little hiatus and well-deserved break, do you have any fun stories from on the road doing all this promotion stuff? Any favorite countries to travel to, best places for food, coolest events you've been to?
Yeah, I guess I could have a lot. That's a good
well,
question.
Apart from us this time last year at Gamescom, walking out of a bar at 4:30 in the morning and finding that little bar down the back alley where they locked us in. And it felt like I just walked into a scene in Hostel. Well, it felt like it actually, the guy who was the bouncer on the door, who locked the door behind us, it felt like we just walked into a scene out of Hostel, and we couldn't drink our beers quick enough to get the hell out of it. It was scary.
So any other particular stories more exotic than the one that Karl just noted? I've heard some crazy stuff from the road from other developers, so I'm interested to hear if there's anything quite noteworthy.
I mean, so much stuff. But there's actually another one where Karl was there.
Naturally.
That time, and we went to this restaurant where it was a dumpling restaurant. I think it's called Paintball or something like that. And we ordered. We're with Roxy, who's the PR girl from next London, UK, and she said, "Oh, this." Words, and we didn't have much time. I had to go have an interview, I think, for I think it was a PlayStation magazine. Yeah, it was official PlayStation magazine, I think. And so she's like, okay, so we'll take this, and that. And then we kind of all, agreed with her because we didn't know exactly how to place.
Yeah, because the guy who was serving us didn't tell us how many dumplings came in a pack.
But he looked like quite worried, actually, even though he didn't tell us anything. But he looked very worried. But I didn't know why. And then, maybe 20 minutes later, they started bringing loads after loads after loads of those.
It was the most amount of dumplings I've ever seen in my life, and I have a photograph of it on my phone, so we'll post it on the blog so people can see Jonathan surrounded in dumpling boxes.
I don't know how we ended up sending half of it back to the studio, to the Square Enix studio, their offices. And I think still fed quite a few people down there.
Holy cow, he's showing me the picture right now. That is a lot of dumplings, and you look very concerned.
And that picture, it's only a fraction of all of what we had.
It's like
I think those are the ones that Roxy had ordered just for me. That was kind of crazy. I mean, there's been tons of things. It was in Paris once. I was in this hotel. I don't remember what it was called, but the logo was like this red star on a white background, and it was everywhere. So it looked like it was in some kind of communist hotel. It was really weird. It was even on the toilet paper. Like each square of toilet paper had a red star on it.
They're very brand conscious.
Surreal. Sorry?
They're very brand conscious, evidently.
Yeah, well, yeah, totally. To put it there, I had never seen to begin with the brand of a hotel and the toilet paper. So the fact that that one had it, and it was a red star. That was quite weird. Whatever. I don't know if you guys knew that in London, that's another thing. Park in the middle of London. So I guess it's kind of like your Central Park. And it's a beautiful place, and there's deers in it. And she's telling me, there's deers in the middle of London. I'm like, yeah, right, there's deers in the middle of London. She's like, yeah. So I kind of start believing her, and I'm expecting, there's probably a bit of woods in the park. And once in a while, maybe, once in your lifetime, you have a sighting of one deer. So we're going to the park, we're driving, and then suddenly she's like, hey, look that way. And there's like a huge clearing, and there's like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of brown boulders, whatever. And I think they're brown boulders, and she's like, look at all the deer.